Hi, it's Milton Kane on the 28th of May 2013. We hear stories about 28 life jackets being washed up on Cocos Island. This is Milton Kane, Christian Democratic Party candidate for the federal seat of Newcastle. The minister has gone onto the television today to blame the opposition, to blame anyone he possibly can for the fact that there has been a blowout in the number of refugees that have come to this country in the last financial year, and it isn't over yet. He has highlighted the fact that there were 28 life jackets found on the washed up on Cocos Island. There were some others a few days ago that were found elsewhere. The concern is obviously that where the life jackets are, it's highly probable that somebody has been on board a ship which has had some difficulties. Now, the life jackets may represent a ship that's gone down and people weren't wearing life jackets. That we don't know. We don't know the full circumstances. But it does highlight to us the fact that there are many people out there using the waters between Indonesia and Australia as a pathway of coming to Australia as a refugee. Last financial year, the budget papers estimated that there would be 5,400 people would come via this means to Australia as refugees. During the course of the year, the government sought to increase the refugee intake to Australia up to 20,000 people. Now, it went from 12,000 to up to 20,000 people. We have to remember that refugees come to this country by several means. There are some who come here by applying somewhere throughout the world from a refugee camp or going to an embassy somewhere, and what they do is they proceed with the paperwork and they apply to become a refugee in Australia because of their circumstances in the country which they lived. It could be where they could be still in that country, or they could be going into a neighbouring country and actually going to our embassy there. Now, so that's one of the ways. Another way are people come to Australia, they come here by legitimate means and they're overstayers, and then they seek refugee status after that. They may have come here for a tourist visa, they may have come here as an education program or even as a work detail program and sought refugee status as a result of that. But from the way that people are coming via boats, 5,400 people were guesstimated by the budget papers. And we find that at this point of time, there is 22,500. Now, that means an oversubscription to the whole of the refugee intake program from this illegal activity of 2,500 persons. The government says that because during the course of the year they passed legislation to simply put in what's called the no advantage test. Now, these people who come here to Australia are not actually turned around. They are relocated in either places offshore or located onshore. But wherever the case may be, they are located in detention centres of some description. Now, because the no advantage test applies, what that actually means, or it should mean, is that there will be no advantage for these people coming here as if they will be treated as if they turned up at a refugee camp, or refugee camp could be, or an embassy somewhere throughout the world and applied through normal channels to become a refugee. That's the understanding, the basic understanding of the no advantage test. Now, it takes a considerable amount of time for the process normally through those normal channels. So that would mean that these people can not expect to see, coming out of those places for some considerable time. Now, considering that there are an oversubscription so far of 2,500, and even though there have been some Sri Lankans that have been sent back for some reason, it does seem to me that we will be absolutely flooded by this process. It seems to me that the minister who is making the claim that he wants to seek cooperation from the coalition to try and prevent the people coming on this dangerous, unsafe and overcrowded boat journey doesn't really seem to get it. Because what we have found is an increase during the whole of the time of the Labor government. You see, there is a far better plan, and that far better plan has been laid out by the Christian Democratic Party. That is where we work with the UN to create refugee camps closer to the points of conflict. We reduce the travel time from the point of conflict to the point of receiving assistance. We also prevent the people from actually having endangered their lives, because they are then put into a refugee camp where protection is guaranteed. And the process can start to commence at any time. What it needs to have is then, once these refugee camps are established, to have Australian officials go there on a regular basis and actually begin the process of checking out the refugees' status, eligibility and the suitability to Australia, and then arranging the transport for those that qualify to come to Australia. That would be neat and clean. It would be able to be controlled. We would be in charge of the immigration. It would not be other people being in charge of Australian immigration policy, or Australian refugee policy in particular. Now, this particular approach has been put to the government in various means, but the fact is it's been rejected. It seems to me that the government prefers to have pretty much an open door policy, and is finding a way through. What will be happening very soon, there will be pressure put upon Australia. Now, we've heard the UN officials speaking about how that it is wrong for certain persons to be detained, I mean that is the children, and if they bring the children out of detention, then we must also bring the parents out of detention, and so then what will happen is that we will change the demographic of the people who come here to become children coming and then the parents coming as well, and so we will have just a slightly different changing of the types of people coming, so that they can I guess flaunt our immigration rules and our refugee rules. It seems to me that we need to bring order out of this chaos, and it seems to me the only way that you can achieve that is by voting for the Christian Democratic Party on September 14, when the government has said there will be the election, which we have been waiting so much for. I want to put it to you, the only solution to this problem is to make sure that people clearly understand that there is a safe way of getting out from where they are to a safe place without boarding an unsafe, overcrowded, dangerous boat on a journey across an ocean which is unforgiving, and where people's lives are being lost on a regular basis. Thank you.